And so I plunged into the deep fabric of space-time, gliding through tunnels of stars far beyond energy and matter.
Hello! Today we'll try to understand the story of Starsand. It should be obvious from the video description, but nevertheless, a last reminder. This video contains major spoilers. Don't watch it if you want to finish the game first. Before we start, a quick overview. Starsand is a sci-fi survival game that was fully released recently. You play as a guy who is running a desert marathon, and apparently goes off course during a sandstorm. As luck would have it, he finds an abandoned building in the middle of the desert. Upon entering, he loses consciousness, and when he finally awakens, he finds himself somewhere else. Notice the carpet? It's gone when he wakes up. And the walls are different too, full of strange ornamental carvings. Even if you manage to overlook this at the beginning, as I did, it becomes clear during the nighttime at the latest that you are not just lost, but not even on planet Earth. Look at this marvelous 2 moons. As we come to know at the end of the game, during the last cutscene, this place is entirely a desert planet, with water being found only at oases. Strangely enough, the flora and fauna are known to us. Palms, yucca plants, gazelles, hyenas, camels, frogs, and a friendly neighbor Mr. Crocodile, who likes us very much. Uncooked, to be precise. And of course, there was human habitation on this planet until they all either got eaten by the so-called aliens or were evacuated to Earth. The aliens and the spiders, who have similar physical appearance, seem to be the actual endemic life forms on this planet. The fact they shy away from water is only another aspect to suggest this. This is a desert planet, and they are made for the driest of climates. Still, I can't believe they don't need water in some small quantities in order to survive. Some of it certainly will be obtained through the blood of their victims, but strangely enough, the alien centipedes only target humans and never the animals. I wonder why they behave this way. It is not clear when the last humans were evacuated, but this could have been centuries and even thousands of years ago. What did the centipedes eat all the time? Were they dormant until we, the protagonist, arrived? The game does not explain this. And speaking of time, the whole story revolves around time travel, even if we only realize it at the very end. We follow in the footsteps of another traveler from our planet, made apparent through a few messages, clearly written in modern English, and also clearly opposed to the native language and script of the original inhabitants, which we can't read. Is it only me, or is it similar to Galactic Basic Standard from Star Wars? Later on, it becomes clear that these messages were written by ourselves from a previous timeline, and also that certain artifacts were left on purpose so that we may find them. Everything we do is preordained. We are meant to find the cedar suit. The whole purpose of the pyramid seems to be the entombment of the suit, and the grandness of the structure would draw us in like a bug to a light source. And we are meant to find the pyramid key and activate the portal, and thus save humanity, as the character says during the last cutscene. We have to escape, so that another iteration of us can come to this planet again, as a ragged marathon runner, and repeat the cycle. And here comes my question. Why the heck do we have to do all that? One reason could be that the protagonist wanted to close the portal for good, so that no centipede could come through to infest Earth. Another one, the actual main reason, seems to revolve around the idea of the causal loop. An event in the future leads to an event in the past, which allows the original event in the future to occur. If we, the protagonist, did not let us get eaten by the centipede queen, perhaps humanity would not survive for certain, as the centipedes would pursue the people to another planet, and we would not be born to find the key and escape from the planet, and thus we would not be able to return in the future to save humanity and be eaten once again. You see here, the green gods, of which our protagonist is a member of, seem to adhere strictly to the so-called grandfather paradox, where killing your own grandfather in his youth would make it impossible for you to be born and thus exist. But there is another theory that maintains that killing your grandfather would not be a paradox, because in so doing you would be creating a new timeline, a new alternate reality, where the children of your grandfather won't be born and thus you yourself won't exist. But you yourself remain unaffected and still are from the original timeline while living in the new one. So what is it now? Is it only the belief of the protagonist that by not sacrificing himself to the queen, he would be creating a time paradox, and thus make it impossible for a future iteration to repeat history again? Or maybe, because the green gods are time travelers, they have a way to know that time paradoxes are not allowed to happen at any cost. But if it is true, why wouldn't they forbid time travel outright? And besides, the whole idea of coming back to the desert planet was not to save humanity, but use the natives as farmers, who would cultivate canoper plant which seeds are needed for the green gods' biotechnology. Why is this planet even an ideal planet for the canoper plant, as the protagonist claims? Would it not grow even better and in higher quantities on Earth? The home planet of the green gods seems to be a dry planet with a low sun luminosity. The desert planet of the centipede queen is ideal only in terms of sunlight, but the water is sparse. On Earth, where water and fertile soil are abundant, the workers would grow in number and more canoper plants would be cultivated. Why didn't the green gods evacuate the natives immediately to Earth? Did they not think of it? Did they think that teaching the natives metallurgy would do it? I believe the green gods' technological upheaval of the natives caused an increase in human population, which in turn increased the centipede population who fed on them. Why didn't the green gods eliminate the queen? Because they didn't want to destroy the planet's biodiversity, or to avoid getting some of their own killed and thus lose their godhood and authority in the eyes of the natives? As you can see, the story of this game only creates more questions the longer you think about it. There is also the question of biology and evolution. The centipedes and spiders seem to be endemic to the planet. They thrive in this desert world. But humans and all the earthen animals are suspiciously out of place. When I started this game, my original understanding was that this was a lost colony world. Humans came here on colony ships and then lost all higher technology due to the harsh desert climate, lack of resources, and thus famine and possibly war. That would explain the arrival of the green gods, who also seem to be biological Homo sapiens, but are clearly technologically more advanced. Visitors from yet another colony world. Yet this whole time travel story makes everything confusing at best, if not illogical at worst. What was the original homeworld of the humans? The desert planet of the centipedes or Earth? If the first is the case, how come the animals, camels, gazelles and others are exactly the same as those on Earth? This reminds me of Battlestar Galactica, where humans evolved separately on two different planets, but were somehow biologically exactly the same. This is so very unlikely if you ask me. And this is the case here in Starsand as well. And when was the first iteration of us entering this desert world? As the written messages suggest, we are at least the second one. But maybe there were countless other ourselves who had come here before. When was the beginning? And how could the very first iteration of us come accidentally through a portal that could not have existed because there was no iteration before who would bring the green gods to this planet and thus make them create the portal in the first place? I think I'll stop right here. The more I think about time travel and its implications, the more my brain starts to hurt. Don't do as I did and overthink this. Keep your brain healthy. Your brain will thank you. And that's it for my explanation of Starsand's story. If you like this video, please consider to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to be alerted when I post new videos like this one. I hope you had fun and learned something new. And I'm curious about your own theories and conclusions, which you can write down in the comment section below. My name is Angel, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye!